The anime begins by showing us a peculiar story where a god created the earth and also humans. But with them, he also decided to create witches who had the duty of controlling the impotent humans, something that the witches themselves did not hesitate to accept, promising to go for it. Beautiful path of caring for and guiding humans, but in the present, the humans hunt the witches, completely hanging him with the beginning of the story. But well, let's continue now. We see our protagonists in a dry desert, a little witch's apprentice named Adonis who was trying to convince his witch teacher named Chloe to let him lead them since he has a powerful tracking device similar to a smartphone. But this only makes Chloe upset since they are fleeing, and she believes that it is a spell which he could use to track them. As a consequence, he eliminated them both, but the little grandpa only continued to boast about his intellect, since he himself created an artifact which does not need magic to work. It cannot be tracked and is not at all useless, like those silly old paper maps that she uses, something that ended up angering her teacher, who gave her a good couple of blows to make her respect. But this did not make him reflect, rather it made him angry. Jay continued wondering why they are the ones who have to flee from humans when they could always live in peace and harmony. But Chloe seemed not to be angry at all, saying that this is life and that their situation simply changed, so they should continue moving forward, and maybe now they could change their profession, saying that maybe they could become stealthy ninjas. But this did not calm Adonis, so she promised him that soon they would be better. And they continued walking while they talked about how soon they will find a place where they let the witches live, and maybe they can find a school for Adonis. Chloe took the opportunity to bother him by telling him that there will surely be pretty girls, but Adonis didn't want to go to school but rather continue training with her. So his teacher bothered him more since she believed that her young perverted student liked older women, which he immediately denied. They continued walking, but Adonis couldn't believe that after everything that is happening to them, their teacher acts with complete calm and harmony when she should be very stressed, but shows her sweetest and kindest side to all this. The hatred of humans on the part of Adonis only seemed to grow, but in the middle of the way, a police squad called the Eastern Squad began to patrol the area in search of remaining witches. So our protagonist would be in trouble. So Adonis was about to defend himself, but his brave teacher decided to take care of them with a strong ice spell. Humans who chased them, and in a quick change of scenes, we see the king of the empire of Ridaya, who is called Gauthi, and was calling his subordinates useless. But one of them began to defend himself, saying that the witch they are looking for, called Chloe, is one of the most powerful, not to mention that ice is her specialty. But talking so much cost him dearly, earning him a good kick in the face for defying his majesty, who was about to ask to be executed, but catching Chloe was his highest priority. So he ordered to go for her again, and this time she did not fail in the attempt. Returning to the protagonists, her teacher easily managed to wipe out the entire squad. But her young disciple did not understand why they forbade him to fight, since according to him, he is very good with magic. But his teacher knew that he still lacks a lot of experience, and he did not want to make him get hurt. But in the middle of his talk, a gigantic sword fell from the sky, which was the power of Adonis. But his teacher would not tolerate hearing it, ending the talk. Although Adonis did know the reason why they forbade him to fight, and it is because he is a human. And surely Chloe does not want him to eliminate his own race. But the boy only asked her to trust him more, since he cannot tolerate sitting idly and wants to protect her with all his strength, earning a very strong hug from her teacher, who understood the feelings of her young disciple. But for her bad luck, one of the suits that Chloe was wearing still worked, and had sent all the location data of our protagonist, sending in a teleportation spell which surely he would take them with the humans passing to the city. A message was sent to the population, which was the Emperor Gauthi Queen. That day he did not speak to them as their king, but as a simple human who gave a speech despising the witches, since he did not care. It seemed fair that they were so weak while the witches were so powerful, and he did not like the idea of having to depend on them to help him with simple things that currently, with their large ships and strong concrete cities, they can do equally or better without counting all the news, such as trains and smartphones, finally saying that due to their great ingenuity they should be the most fit to live in that world, and asking that any witch be handed over immediately for a quick execution. But that was not all, since at the end of his speech both Chloe and Hades were teleported in front of the emperor, who had very bad intentions, but Adonis, upon quickly reading the situation, decided to attack Gothi, but his security managed to catch the little boy, which Chloe did not like at all, who threatened to freeze everything if not. They released his apprentice, and seeing that they would not do so, he decided to use his ice magic to eliminate them all due to how dangerous they had become. But to his surprise, his ice magic did not work, nor did Adonis's, who was trying to write on the ground. To try to invoke his magic, which did not work either, since the humans created a powerful magic blocker, and His Majesty approached Chloe to undress her and beat her, humiliating me that he would eliminate them, and upon hearing these words the king himself ordered that he be eliminated. But Chloe, in his last attempt to protect the only thing she had, she knelt before the king, lying to him, telling him that she stole that child and raised him as a slave, so she brainwashed him into believing that he is one of them. Although he is just a simple human, which should if he was forgiven, Adonis understood what his teacher wanted to achieve, but he did not want to accept it, so he continued in vain trying to write hieroglyphs to invoke some magic, but to add luck nothing would be useful, and the emperor would end his life while they both remembered the first time they met and how good they felt with each other. And in her last words, Chloe thanked her disciple for everything, while a strong scene permeated the eyes of our protagonist. To top it off, a group of the army would make sure to eliminate her completely, finishing off from a distance. While all this is happening, we see short scenes of both of them and all the time they spent together, and finally, as if that were not enough, the emperor ordered one of his servants to cut off the witch's head to have I remember the occasion, all while Adonis saw how the only person who stayed with him had been eliminated in the worst possible way, completely filling himself with hatred for all of humanity, which despite being his race had caused him great trauma. 10 years since the tragedy, and now we see a couple of prisoners who were fighting quite badly over a ration of bread. But a shy girl named Daroka asked them to stop fighting, and in exchange she would give them their bread, which confused the prisoners, but still thus, one of them took the bread in a very bad way, and one of the prisoners named Anna approached Daroka, questioning if it is really okay for her to give her bread again, since the last few times she also gave food to other prisoners, which she stated, since according to his own words, had plenty of energy. But the blue girl could only envy his calm and kindness, since if he goes outside he will only find a horrendous war fighting for other territories, and remembering how they were deceived by saying that if they extinguished the Buru everyone would improve, but it only got worse in wars with each other, fighting for territories and food. But Daroka asked him to calm down by showing him a puppet which represented a king and the other a maiden, simulating a silly conversation where he recounts his reality, telling that the empire he brought them to that prison and they don't even know why, they are simply quite scared. All of this to cheer up their scared friend Anna, who succumbed to Daroka's nonsense, managing to brighten up a little the bad time they were experiencing. But the bad news is just they seem to be coming, because soon one of the guards came asking for prisoner number 218. Then a couple of prisoners were murmuring that lately the girls who leave there never come back, and this will be the 4th time they ask for a prisoner. And we quickly see that Anna, it is number 218, something that terrified her, since she would surely not breathe again if they took her away. But Daroka was able to quickly read the situation and bravely took her friend's number to replace it with her own and practically be the bait, thus saving her friend, who did not understand why she gave herself up for her, leaving her digital number and her 2 puppets with Anna. Now we went to see where they took her, where a strange man could see that she was in good health and also seemed quite sane. So the head of the guards, called Parolu, who looked like he crossed paths for a while, asked her to undress, which is a basic routine, since they must make sure that she does not carry any type of weapon or anything dangerous on her body, because lately they had problems of this type. Our strange friend explained to Daroka that that place is paid for with people's taxes. So now she would be useful to the guards by also showing us how the rest of the women ended up, who were fainted from so much abuse. Daroka, she only seemed to be shocked while listening to Parolu, who said that it was not her fault after all. Her industrial revolt was stupid, and it is normal for things to happen like what is about to happen to her, so they asked her to get used to it, while he took a photo with his new pet, which he would not use for his personal benefit, since seeing how beautiful it is would be better for him to sell it to a high command. So he continued taking photos, since surely someone would buy it at a very good price. But Daroka, being in that horrendous situation, bit him out of instinct, managing to flee the room while Parolu ordered her to be captured. Although upon noticing that something was missing, we see that the skillful girl not only managed to flee but also stole his smartphone, in which while it was pursued, he was able to find an option where he could open all the cells immediately, and the young girl, while running, asked him to free all the prisoners. But for his bad luck, a voice authentication code was needed, which would be difficult to obtain, and no matter how many attempts he made, he couldn't do it, but he imitated the voice of the degenerate. So his phone accepted the voice confirmation without hesitation, managing to free all the cells and shouting at all of them to flee immediately, but as there were too many, the police couldn't handle them all. But looking for a golden exit, he ended up in a strange room where one of the policemen jumped to catch her, since she should not be in that place and she had given the order to release all the prisoners. So they tried to close all the cells immediately, but it was too late and the smartphone had ordered a massive liberation. So the metal shell in front began to open, showing us a captured human who looked quite dangerous, but upon hearing so much noise he understood that the day of his liberation had finally arrived. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell for the next stop. Now take a break.